Hello. So, today on Two Cups, One Kettle, we're going to be talking about Dungeons and Dragons for Dummies. So, grab yourself a cup and listen up.
Hello.
Hey.
So, what are you drinking today, Gabrielle?
I'm drinking peppermint tea.
No way.
Yeah, what are you drinking?
I'm also drinking peppermint tea.
That's crazy. Is yours in a baggie too?
It is. Lay baggy.
I can't get it.
So, today we are talking about Dungeons and Dragons for Dummies.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we talking about that?
Well, I love Dungeons and Dragons. I've played in a couple of campaigns. I joined a club at my college one time. Didn't work out very well, but that wasn't about the Dungeons and Dragons. Getting PTSD. But I love Dungeons and Dragons. If you've seen Lord of the Rings or really any high fantasy series, you'll probably love it. You get to pretend to be anything you want, really, and then go around the world and fight things, or not, depending on what kind of campaign you're doing. Who knows? And you just get to kind of be bigger than life and get out of your shell and kind of do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. There's no rule. Well, there are rules, and we're going to get into that later. But really, the rules are just that there is no rules within a certain limit of not even physics, but just what your dungeon master will allow. If your dungeon master allows it, that is the only rule. That's pretty much it. But it's just a really, really fun game. You get to do it, like, be whoever you want. You could be a little hermit crab who comes out and he uses his claws to attack people. You could be a little gnome wizard who lives up in a tower and hasn't seen people in 60 years, but he decided to come out all of a sudden because he needed some milk. Who knows what? You can be anything you want. You could also just be a human, but who wants to do that? That's really boring. And
we're already that in real life.
Yeah, why would you want to do that again? But yeah, it's just a really, really fun game, and I'm excited to talk about it, and I'm going to be dungeon mastering my first ever long campaign. So it's been on my mind a lot. I have spreadsheets and binders, and I was building a map this morning and painting maps and planar. There's a whole extra nonsense to it. But I just love it, and I'm excited to share it with the people that I love and I enjoy hanging out with, and I am the creator of this world, and I can do whatever I want to anyone in it. I have full power, and it is a power trip, and I like it. And what do you think about D&D?
Well, I'm the dummy in question today. I don't really know hardly anything about it. I know a little bit from that one dog Dungeons and Dragons that you said you got it, did you say you got it at Target or something?
It was Barnes & Noble. It's basically Dungeons and Dragons for toddlers to elementary schoolers,
which is where I'm at. So it was really fun, and I was like, this dog, I think my dog was a ranger dog.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly, but I remember that whenever the rat part came in, it wasn't in the game for the rats to become pets, but you were the dungeon master then too, and I knew you would let me do it. So I was like, I shall keep this rat and train him to be my pet. And then we had the rat search all the rooms to make sure there were no monsters first. And I thought it was really fun. And so I can imagine that it would be even more fun in a not toddler version where we can be more than just dogs. So yeah, I'm really excited to learn more about it, and I'm excited for our, what's it called, Session 0?
Yeah, Session
today.
0.
Yeah, that's today. So
yeah.
Dummy no longer after Session 0.
Yes, and Session 0 is kind of going to be vaguely what we're going to be talking about today, but also I'm going to be talking about specifically the universe that I have created, and I control everything.
I'm so excited.
And we're going to do that, and then Session 0 before we get into the actual rules, is where normally your dungeon master, if you're a first-time player, will explain the rules to you, and will also tell you about their world, and then you can create your character to fit within that world. And in Dungeons and Dragons, you can make your character to be anything you want, and there's there's like 7, I think, main classes that you can choose from, and all of them have a plethora of subclasses, so you can really specifically find something that really fits what you're wanting. And you can also do this thing called multi-classing and have a little bit of each. You can kind of do a flavor build, however you're wanting to do it, but we're gonna get into it. So there's a ton of dice, and by a ton I mean 7, that you will use on a regular basis in your campaigns. The main one that you'll be using is called a D20, and so when you think of dice, you think of your normal 6-sided die. That you just call a D6. The number is equivocal to how many sides there are on the dice. These are some of my favorites. I know you can't see.
Pretty.
Oopsies. But, so we'll start at the smallest. This is a D4. It has 4 sides. Wow, crazy.
No way.
Then you get up to your D6, your normal dice.
No way. Does that have 6 sides?
It does have 6 sides. Then you have your D8.
There's not a 7.
There's not a 7. You have to have an even number on die, I fear. Okay. Then you have your D10. Then you have your D12, which is right here. A D20. This is your golden dice. This is the one you will be touching constantly. All the time. Almost every 5 minutes at least. And this is a percentile dice, also known as a, there's also a D100, which you don't really use often. But all of these are what you get to use. You get to roll them, and basically the dice kind of decide the game. Your dungeon master and you can have plans, and big plans, and the dice really decide. So if you get a nat 1, critical failure, it's not going to work out how you wanted. But like I said, this is the most important one. And so a lot of D&D is one role playing, which you may or may not do, and then deciding what you're going to do. And when you do that, then you roll the dice, and that decides whether or not you're going to get it. Obviously, 20 is a critical success. Basically, you get extra stuff for doing that. And a nat 1, which is a critical failure, means you probably hurt yourself in the meantime of trying to do whatever you did.
Ooh. Will this podcast episode go well?
11, a solid above board middle ground. Woo!
Woo!
So let's go off who all is going to be at the table. So there's your dungeon master, which in the case of my upcoming campaign will be me. I am the master of everything.
Massa.
I am the
All
one.
hail, Massa.
I'll take it.
You're like, I like it.
Oh, great. I get to describe the world, build the world. I get to play all of the monsters, all the NPCs. I will be bringing out voices. There will be like a Batman.
I'm so excited.
I get to decide when you roll the dice. I'll tell you when to do it. And another thing to keep in mind, you are not competing with your dungeon master. Do not compete. I'm not competing with you. My goal as a dungeon master is to give you a good time. I want you to win. I'm not going to give you something you can't beat. I want you to win. My job is to give you guys a good time. I have a fun, nice time where you feel successful or downtrodden, depending on what benefits my plot and the discovery of my world and how to move forward. But basically, you tell me what you want to do. I tell you what to roll. If you beat a certain number that I've built in my head or built beforehand, then you get to do it, and then we go forward.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Will we get Raising Canes after this?
Oh no,
18.
That's really solid. I fear we will be getting Raising Canes.
Yes! Okay, continue, sorry.
Okay, so we already went over the dice, and there's a whole bunch of different weird shapes. The D20, like I said, is what you're going to use for almost everything. There's these things called abilities, and there are 6 of them. There's strength, which sounds exactly like what it is. It's how hard you hit and lift. Dexterity, which has to do with more so how fast you are, how sneaky you are. If you were going to pickpocket someone, you're going to be using dexterity, which you can do. You can pickpocket people. It's called sleight of hand. Anyways, Constitution is how tough you are. This will have to do with how much health you have for the most part. Intelligence, book smarts. Are you a nerd? Are you a nerd? Cough, cough, wizards. Wisdom is street smarts and awareness. It's more so to do with, instead of studying, it's more so what have you experienced in your life that you've learned from. And then charisma is confidence, swagger, getting in there. I mean, it's charisma, which is short for Riz. I think we all know what that means. Okay. Then there's also these things called skills, which fall underneath abilities. And each ability
I just look like a fish, sorry.
has something to do with something else, like stealth, perception, persuasion, athletics, investigation, insight, sleight of hand, like I mentioned. They all fall underneath one of those abilities, and that is something that you'll add your modifier to, which you get from your character and your stat block when you build them.
Wait, what's a modifier?
A modifier. Okay, so when you build your character, you're going to choose a race, and that will come with a certain plus or negative to different stats, which are your dexterity, charisma, etc.
Okay.
And so all of those, if you are above a certain number, you get these things they're your modifiers. So you can have, let's say you only had 8 points in intelligence. That's really bad. You're really dumb. You're really dumb. And you probably have at least a -1 to intelligence. So anytime that I asked you to make an intelligence roll or anything that would fall under the intelligence spectrum, you would roll your d20, which your main one, and then you'd subtract that from your roll, and that's the actual number. Or if you had let's say you were a wizard, you'd probably have high intelligence. You would have like a 17 in intelligence. You could have like a +3 or 4. And so you'd roll your dice, and then you get to add that number to it. So it modifies your dice roll.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yes, and so different classes and different things that you choose and your stats will affect what things you're good or bad at. And you can't be good at everything. Something has to be negative. So, I mean, you probably don't want your barbarian with a -3 on intelligence to go up and try and talk to the wizard and try and understand him. You'd probably want to send your own wizard, who probably has a high intelligence too. So it really affects things. Classes. Classes are the fun parts, which you get to choose. And that is your ranger, paladin. Let's get into a whole bunch of them. There's a ton. There's barbarian, fighter, rogue, ranger, monk, paladin, cleric, druid, bard, sorcerer, warlock, and if your dungeon master allows it, artificer. So each of those are different things, have different vibes that you can go along with it. Barbarian, you hit things, and you hit things hard. You're probably strength-based, and by probably, I mean you are.
Waka chaka.
Exactly. That is your mega knight of things, like coming in and just thwack. There's your bards. You play your little guitar or whatever instrument you want. Maybe it's your vocal cords. It's wisdom-based magic, and you can literally sing someone to death. Or you can insult someone to death. There's a spell called Cutting Words, and it legitimately does damage.
Oh.
So you can just say, yo mama, and he'll take 3 damage.
Yo mama.
There's clerics. Think your nuns, your priests. They're more religious, normally good. There is a death domain cleric, which is kind of fun, but they're also wisdom-based. They're the healers of the group primarily. They can protect you, they give you buffs, and they heal you from the damage that you took from being stupid. Your druid, those are the ones in tune with nature. They're your hippies of the group, the tree huggers. Some of them can turn into like creatures, owl bears, normal bears. They're also wisdom-based, and they're just kind of fun and flavorful if you want to get into there. Fighters, it's like barbarian, but a little bit more smart, and instead of just hitting something, they probably have a plan when they go in. Your monks, they don't hold things primarily. You just hit things with your hands, so you're slapping people, and it's really intense slapping. You can hit them a lot in a turn. Literally. Like, monks are kind of crazy. You can get, like, so many hits in one go, but you don't have any weapons. Paladins they wear heavy armor. They're kind of like clerics, but hard hitters. They've made a pact with someone, and they worship them. They're normally good, and they have a very strong sense of morality. They hit things really, really hard. They're like your priest and barbarian had a baby. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Rangers, that's probably one of my favorite classes, even though they haven't gotten much love lately. It's bad. But they are kind of like your druid and fighter had a baby. They have some basic spells. They normally use long-range weapons for the most part. Sneak, hit, come from forest, use bow arrow, shoot from afar, don't get hit. I love them. They're my favorite. They're my babies. Your rogues, those are your thieves. Those are the people who get you in trouble. They're the ones who go and try and thieve the golden hand from the magic shop and then get you kicked out, and then you can no longer go to that magic shop and now you're screwed. I'm talking to you, Eli. You know who you are. Sorcerers.
Hello.
They are the ones with innate magic from internally. It comes from themselves. They don't have to study for it. They're the natural jocks, not the one who actually practice of the magic world, charisma based. They have kind of some limited options, but they're really big, flashy spells. I also love Sorcerer. They're one of my favorites because I like being better innately.
No trying needed.
Exactly, it's just natural. Warlocks are ones, they probably didn't have magic themselves, but they make a pact with someone else, with either someone who has very high magical powers, a deity, etc., etc. They normally give something to receive their powers, and they also a lot of times have to appease or do things for their patron. They're called a patron. And sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad, really depends on the patron. Were they nice? Were they evil? Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you don't even know you got into a pact. Sometimes it's both. There's the neutral gods, and you don't have to know that you got into a pact either. They can trick you into it. Then there's wizards, which are the ones who practice. They're the ones who go to school to learn about magic, and they learn all the ways.
Hermione.
They're the Hermiones. They come in, they study hard, they learn everything. They have tons and tons of spell options, but they have to work hard for it. And at the beginning of the game, if you're a wizard, you probably died at some point. They're what we call squishy. That is an actual term that you call someone easily killable, squishy. Barbarians are the opposite. They can go in front lines. Wizards, you probably want to hide it within a pack at the very back, because if they get touched once or breathed on, they'll probably fall over and die.
Is that like throughout the entire game, or just when they're starting and as they level up, they get better?
As they level up, they get better. Every class, as you level up, you get to gain more hit points. A lot of times, every single level. Wizards just start out really, really, really killable.
Okay.
But then at the end of the game, they're probably the most overpowered. Like, there's this spell called Wish. It's a 9th level spell. You can't get it until really high, but you can essentially wish for anything and it will happen.
Oh,
So they have a lot, and you can do that, I believe, once a day. Once a day. You can ask for anything your little heart desires, and it has to happen. So wizards become super overpowered. They're the ones that you hear jokes about saying fireball, and their fireball has a very wide radius. Do not put it in a small room. You will kill everyone in it, including yourself. That
good to know.
is a warning for everyone listening. Artificers, if you know Greek mythology, they're your Hephaestus of the group. If you read...
What if we don't know Greek mythology? Asking for a friend.
Have you read Percy Jackson?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I've seen like the movies, but
okay.
for us who don't know it.
They're the little nerds who go into the garage and take things apart and put them back together again.
So my husband.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They're the ones who go...
He should be that.
Yes, artificers are really, really cool.
That's
They're
literally him.
intelligence-based. They build things. They build grenades. They build weapons. They are pretty... They're the fantasy engineer of the group. They're pretty cool. Each of those classes that we just went over, which are the main ones, and all of them have subclasses if you wanted to get into that. And I do have a special YouTube channel that is phenomenal for that. He goes into a ton of subclasses, explains it really well, makes everything sound fun, and it is called You Might Be A DND. And then he goes through to some class like You Might Be a Twilight Cleric. That's a lot of fun. But each class has a stat that is most important to have, like in the case of Warlock, it's Charisma. Wizards, you want Intelligence. All of them have a different thing that you should have set as your most important stat that you want to get as high as possible, as fast as possible. And certain races that you can match with them come with innate boosters. Like humans come with a +1 in everything, originally off the bat, but they don't have dark vision, which is exactly what it sounds like. You can see in the dark, and they don't come with a lot of things. But there's humans, elves, dwarfs, halflings, dragonborns, tieflings, half-elves, half-orcs, and gnomes. And there's actually a whole bunch more. There's a turtle race where you're like Master Oogway. There's an owl race where you're like the owl from Winnie the Pooh. Any animal that you can think of, there's probably a race out there for you if you're into that. And there's just a ton of them. There's also these things called Aasimar. They're pretty cool. There's just a ton of different classes that can add a lot of flavor to your character. Backgrounds are things kind of, well, it's your background. Where did you come from? Were you a soldier, a criminal, a noble, an acolyte, an entertainer, all kinds of things. And all of those will, one, give you extra skills and proficiencies, as well as add some fun. If you get into a little bit of role playing and pretending you're actually your character, that will really add into it. So a bard, you might want to be a past entertainer or a folk hero, or even sometimes a noble or a criminal. Maybe you were up there singing so that you could pickpocket someone. Who knows? But there's a lot of fun, flavorful mixes that you can do. And then that's pretty much it on character creation. There's a lot more you can get into, but that's kind of the basics of where you want to start, where you want to be. You can also, you get to pick what you look like. Some classes, like some of the ranger classes or druid classes, you can have a pet. And so you can have a
like
little
your
guy.
dragon?
Exactly. There's, back to the ranger class, Drake Warden Ranger, chef's kiss, beautiful. I have a character that I'm waiting to use in the perfect campaign, and I'm so excited for that day to come. I get a pet dragon. It's a drake, technically, and it grows into a dragon as I level up. And
that does sound cool.
Yeah, I have a homebrew version of it that I've discussed with some DMs that they all seem okay with, so I'm pretty excited about it, where I actually get to have him as a pet instead of a summon.
Mm-hmm.
I will be Daenerys. It's gonna be awesome. Anyways, so then let's get into combat. And combat is, well, it's what most people think of when they think of D&D. It's the fun bit. And your character will have this thing called an AC, which is your armor class. It is how hard it is to hit you. It can be actually above 20. It doesn't necessarily have a limit depending on where your stats are and what armor you have on. But like wizards can be like a 10 to 12, which on a D20 isn't very hot.
Mm-hmm.
Very hot at all. And then you can get up to over 20. If you have over 20, you're probably doing pretty good. And you probably won't get hit very often, which is nice. But also, all of your enemies have an armor class. And so whenever you're going to hit someone, one, you can go up to try and hit them. You have movement, which is dependent on your class, your race, and any additional things that might affect that. You can do one thing called an action. You have one action per turn and a bonus action. During your action, that's when you would attack, hit something, or cast a spell. That's your main form of attack. And so some of them, like healing, clerics can use their turn to heal as well. There's an attack. You can run up to this orc that, I don't know, slaughtered your mother and you're taking revenge. So you run up to this orc. Yeah, most people make their characters orphans. You don't have to do that. It's not a requirement. You can have a very happy family life. It's okay.
And then they'll just die later.
No promises. It adds flavor. Anyways, so you can go up and hit it. And let's say this orc has an armor class of 14. Then I would tell you to roll to hit. And roll to hit is when you're going to take your d20 and then roll to hit. We got an 8. We did not hit. If it's underneath the armor class, you miss. But let's say we did roll. We rolled a 14. We would hit. If his armor class is 12 and you roll a 12, you hit. Then you get to do this thing called roll for damage. And that will be one of your many other pretty die. Also, go on Etsy. There's gorgeous dice on there. But a lot of times it's a D6, a D4, a D8, a D12. And then you roll it. Some of them will say roll 2D12 plus your certain like armor class or something like that. And you would roll it, then add your proficiency. Boom, that's your damage. That's how much you hit him for. So if it was 2d4, we hit the orc. That's 7 damage right there. You just hit him, dealt him 7 damage. Then you have a bonus attack. Sometimes it's a second attack. Sometimes it's a spell that you have the ability to, a cantrip. And crying is a free action. You can cry at any point. You can say, my character cries, and is not a bonus action. Fun fact, you can also sometimes talk. So you can crap talk your opponents. You can tell them that they're ugly.
Trash talking.
Yeah, you can trash talk someone. It doesn't count. You can say whatever you want. You can say your mama ugly. It won't do
Why
damage.
Why are we bringing our moms into this?
Well, you know, I don't know. It just seemed right. But it won't do any damage.
I'm sure your mom is beautiful.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. I'm sure she's a wonderful, wonderful woman.
Very pretty.
Yeah, very nice too, I'm sure. However, that one won't do damage unless you're a bard and you used cutting words. It won't do damage, but you can still say it. Then, that's pretty much everything you need to know about D&D as far as rules. That covers most of it. You're going to go through. Your DM's going to lead you to different areas. You're going to role play. You're going to fight people. You're going to learn things. You're going to investigate. I really like getting into character. I like really pretending I'm my girl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who wouldn't want to be? I
It's
have
so fun.
wings. I can fly. I'm awesome. I'm so much cooler in my fantasy world than I am in real life. So I say live it up. If you aren't comfortable with doing voices, you don't have to do them. I just give my girl a slight British accent because it makes me feel fancy.
I feel like when I try to do an accent, it always ends up being a country one in the end.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what it starts as, it ends up being country in the end. Southern.
I feel like being a New Yorker would be really fun, like you're from New Jersey or something. Jersey!
That's all I can do.
I think it'd be really fun voice to bring in. You can voice act. You don't have to voice act. You don't have to perform. It's not necessarily performance. Just have fun with it. Get into it. The rules are not more important than fun. Having fun is what's important. If your dungeon master is not making things enjoyable, maybe find a new one. The dungeon master does have a lot to do with it, but also players, you guys are the main people. You're the ones who set the tone for it. Even if the dungeon master said that this is going to be a really scary, more thriller-based one, if you just start going around and dancing and trotting, it's going to be a happy one no matter what the dungeon master does.
Mm-hmm.
You guys really decide the tone and what's going to happen, and I know that I've been thinking about this because I like to plan for everything. I can't plan for the stupidity that's going to come my way. So I'm just going to have a vague outline and eventually start guiding you to the places I want.
It's like improv.
I'm going to have to improv. And actually that's a really... Brennan Lee Mulligan is one of my, if not my favorite dungeon master. And he actually did improv classes before he was ever a dungeon master. Actually, no, that's a lie. I think he said he started dungeon mastering when he was like 6 or something crazy like that.
Really?
Yeah. But oh, my stars, he is amazing.
With that much experience, he would be.
Oh, his monologues, man. I aspire to be like Brennan Lee Mulligan, and I will be like that man someday. But you can have a few plot points, but if you overplan, one, it feels forced. You start railroading your people. They don't have fun, and also it's just not going to happen because I'm not going to think about that maybe when we go into this town that you're not going to talk to the one person in the town that I had set up that you guys needed to talk to start the quest in that town. Instead, you kidnap the princess that is living in a tower that is not even relevant, and I didn't really have anything besides the fact that her name was Isabel. Please, if I point out someone, please go to them. There's probably a reason.
You said make sure not to talk to that person and then go in the opposite direction.
No.
Okay, I have some questions
Okay.
that I feel like you didn't cover, and as somebody who's never played or really knows anything about it, I feel like whoever's listening who also hasn't played may be wondering the same thing. How do you decide your stats? Like, does the person creating the characters decide the stats, or the dungeon master, or kind of both? Because people could definitely just OP their character and be like, I'm good at everything except I'm not smart.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
There's different systems to actually build your stats when you're making their character. There's a point buy system, which means you have, I can't remember what the total number is because when I play, we normally do a rolling system. But there's a point buy system, which means you have a total of, I don't know what the actual number is. If you actually play D&D, don't yell at me, please. I know I'm wrong. But let's say it's 30 30 points that you can place across all of your stats. Then it's up to you to decide how many of those go into
where
each
you're
stat.
distributing. Okay,
yes.
So everybody gets the same amount of points, and then you just decide where you want those.
In a point buy system, yes.
Okay.
There's also a rolling system, which I believe is primarily on a D4 or a D6.
Okay.
And you get to roll it, I think it's like three or four times, depending on what system you're doing, and you add them all together. And depending on your DM, you can have 1 reroll or 2 rerolls. So then you do that for each stat, and then you'd roll 6 of those. You'd roll 6 numbers, and then whatever those numbers are, you can then assign to whichever one you want.
Okay, gotcha.
And so
it kind of depends on what your dungeon master, how they want to do it.
Yes. And so also, I will say it's not nearly as fun to have a completely, because I've rolled really, really well where I didn't have a stat below 15, which is actually insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's not nearly as fun as the character that I have that only has like a 9 in one of my other stats, because it adds more flavor and more depth. I mean, if you're good at everything, you're boring.
Yeah.
Have some fun. Like, it's funny. There's in Critical Role, for example, which is another huge D&D campaign. They're big people. And Grog, in one of their first campaigns, is their barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a rolling system. And I think it was a rolling system. He has like a 3 or a 5 in intelligence. He is so dumb. He is so dumb. But he's hilarious. He's a funny character, and he's much better for that. Whereas if he was more even, he'd be kind of boring.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of not as interesting when you just win all the time. Because then it, like, I feel like it also makes it more interesting for the dungeon master, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I was not doing well
Mm-hmm.
during that puppy D&D game. And it was more fun for you, I feel like, because you were like, you miss by a lot. The boomerang comes back and actually hits you instead.
Did I take off one of your toes or
yeah,
something?
you did. And then, like, your brother kept my toe. He was like, can I roll to keep the toe in a plastic bag? And I was like, why do you want my toe?
Yeah.
And, like, it's more fun, I feel like, that way than just,
absolutely.
like, oh, you hit every time you win.
Yes.
All the time. Like, that's not fun.
No, it's not fun. And also, it won't... how you feel about your successes will slowly diminish if you always win. Like, there has to be some losses sprinkled in there.
Ooh.
Where you lose. So that
Speaking of winning,
successful.
I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the puppy D&D,
Mm-hmm.
we were all kind of on a team.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how it is in real D&D, or is it every man for themselves?
It depends on your campaign, definitely. For the most part, in most average D&D, you are a team.
Okay.
And most of the time, there's always, like, not necessarily, like, I would like to stray away from this because it just feels very overused, but you meet in a tavern, and you all are there, and that's how you get together.
I think that's how we started in puppy D&D.
Yes, that's how we started in puppy D&D. And so, we're not doing that in our campaign, by the way. I'm coming up with something fun and flavorful.
I'm excited to hear about it tonight.
And so at that point, there's also, I'm doing a homebrew world, the one for my campaign that I'm making. Homebrew, it means I made it myself. But there's also a whole bunch of modules that you can buy or get online that have them preset. They have the big bad guy already pre-made. You don't have to make them yourself and come up with weird names for the entire continent. They come with pre-made maps and all of that kind of stuff, so you can...
Like puppy D&D.
Exactly, like puppy D&D.
Not puppies.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to be running 2 different homebrew campaigns at the same time. One for my family, which will be... It's going to have to be
fun.
Yeah, it's going to have to be Critical Role style, and by that, I mean, it's got 1 million players. There's going to be like 10 players every time, which is a lot because the average D&D game is normally anywhere from like 3 to 6 players.
Because you
And
normally
it's average.
can't get that many people to play with you.
Exactly, but these are all family members. They have,
no
choice.
no choice.
Yeah, and I know you're watching, and you have no choice. But
dude,
it's
I feel like that's so fun that like your grandparents are gonna play too. Like,
it's gonna be so exciting. My Nana, what a woman. I'm excited to see what she makes. We're gonna have a session 0 family night where I'm gonna pull up. I have an entire PowerPoint presentation putting up on the TV. They're all sitting in the living room and we are talking it out. Also, you get to learn something from this. So, family group chat. I hope you learned something today. There's a lot of stuff.
I have more questions.
Yeah, let's do a question and answer.
How do you level up?
Okay.
How does that work? Do you just level up based on how well you're doing, or based on the story, or how does that work?
Great question. Both of those are correct.
Okay.
It's, once again, based on your dungeon master. There is experience-based because technically all of the monsters are in the monster manual, which is a book you can buy for D&D, and they have a certain amount of experience per. And also certain interactions have a certain amount of experience that you can earn from completing them. So if you're doing XP-based, each level has a certain number of experience points that you need to gain to go to the next level.
Okay.
My preference, however, is to do a story-based or what is that called? Not trademark, but benchmark. A benchmark kind of leveling up.
Like checkpoints?
Exactly, a checkpoint. So you've made it to a certain level. Let's say you just defeated the first mini-boss of the entire campaign. And now, for me, that's absolutely a level up period. You just beat the hardest guy in that area and you're about to move forward. So to me, that's a level up. So you can do it based on that as well.
Okay, so in that scenario, does everyone just level up at the same time, or are there certain people who are higher levels than others?
For the most part, I would say they tend to be on the same level in a by bench point type of leveling up situation, because you're all kind of collectively
together,
reaching those bench points. In an experience based, it's actually pretty common for people to be like kind of going back and forth because maybe you guys split up and someone dealt with something over here that was worth a little bit more experience points, so they're a little bit higher. But there's also, in the case of, let's say, a huge party and everyone's split up, there's 15 people and so you have 3 different tables going, then you could have a lot of different leveling going on, even with the benchmark based.
Okay.
For easy sake, and for most people, you're either going to have experience, and it's probably going to be all of your group. Most dungeon masters aren't going to split you up very much.
Right.
Or they're going to be by benchmark, which is what I'm going to be doing, because it feels better and more right to be like, oh, you just accomplished something really big. Congratulations, have a cookie. Like,
give you cookie, got me cookie.
Give me cookie, got you cookie,
got
man.
You cookie, give you cookie,
give you cookie,
man.
got you cookie, man. Yes, I prefer that type of leveling up just because it feels more genuine to me, you know. Yes, do you have any other questions? We're missing a lot, but I feel like we've covered most basics.
Ooh, okay. If I didn't have you as a best friend, I feel like this is something I would really struggle with. When people talk about D&D and their characters, and I know you covered a lot about the characters and like what their strengths are and, you know, what different stats they'll have, but what would you say is the best resource or best way to go about creating a character if you just have no idea like anything about D&D? What resource or way would you recommend to create your character? Is there like a website, or is there like...
There's a ton of YouTube videos.
Okay.
So I've even done some myself. One, I've looked up YouTube videos about how to be a good dungeon master, because I've never done it outside of Kitty D&D. I've done that a ton of times now, but I've never done a big one.
Puppy D&D though.
Thank you. I tried my hardest. But there's a lot of that using YouTube and asking, you know, if you're worried about the role-playing aspect of your character. You can look up how to role-play your D&D character. There's tons of YouTube videos. There's this one girl that I love, and she has, in most of her videos, blue hair. She might have a different hair color now, but it was a short haircut, blue hair. She's a phenomenal resource to utilize, and I will see if I can find her. Maybe we could link it.
Put it in the description or something.
Then if you're looking for builds, not necessarily your character's background or anything like that, but if you're looking for builds, like your stat block and like what
that's
spells
kind of
to
what
take.
I'm thinking, because like I've obviously never built a character, and so I can come up with what my character would be like, but then I have no idea how to turn that into like my stats, what skills I have, how am I going to use that in an actual game. That's kind of what I am struggling with.
What I would suggest the most is, this is where I get a lot of my character ideas for the stat blocks, and for what spells should I take at what level, and what kind of feats should I take, because there's a whole lot included when you're leveling up about what spells you take. There's these things called feats, which can give you advantages depending on which one you choose, all kinds of different things that you can choose as you level up. And I really like the You Might Be A DND guy. He's a phenomenal YouTube and channel, and he's got a ton of subclasses. He has playlists built on each one, like Ranger. He has all the subclasses that he's done so far there, Paladin, all of them. And they're pretty short, so if you don't want to spend, like, if you don't want to be like me and watch an 1.5 long YouTube video about how to build the best, most amazing Drake Warden Ranger that you could ever build, he has a 10-minute video about here's what to take at this level, here's all of these, here's a few different options depending on what flavor you're wanting, and he makes them sound hilarious and amazing. There's also just YouTube in general. If you really wanted to see how they were played, you could watch a lot. There's a ton of D&D campaigns that have been recorded and put online to watch. Now, D&D campaigns normally last a while. Sessions are anywhere from like 2 to 6 hours, depending on how you're doing it. So it is a big time commitment, but you can watch someone else play that character and see if you want to play them, like something that's similar. Or just even Google. And if you have an idea in your head and you would like to be like a character from a TV show or a book, or, I mean, if I kind of really liked a Drake Warden Ranger, because one, I love dragons, I love reading about them, it makes me think of Lord of the Rings and my romance books and all kinds of stuff, and I wanted to be like Manon Blackbeak from the Throne of Glass series. So I went in, and this is one of the few, use ChatGPT to your advantage. It can search the entire internet for you, and if you say, I would like to have a dragon, I want to use a bow as my main weapon, I want this kind of thing, I want to be a sassy character, I would like to be this kind of thing, you can ask it, what race would best suit this type of character? What weapon fighting should I take? Can you make me a level by level guide to this character, or give me options? You can just ask it to help you build options, and then you can narrow it down from there based on what sounds best to you. That is, even though screw AI, it is a great resource to actually help you, because there is so much content online that scouring through it all to find exactly what you need will take you forever. And if you just don't have the time to spend in that particular way, it's a great resource to use. And YouTube as well, they have a lot of short videos out there, and that is where I would mostly go. And also, I just totally remembered, etiquette at the table, very, very important. Do not talk over your DM. Most of them are trying to give you a good time, and if you talk over them, you cannot be led anywhere. And they're trying to lead you somewhere for a reason, because they've built this whole thing and they want to guide you down the path that you should go loosely and lightly. There's a lot of roads to get to the same place. Not necessarily railroading, combined, little confined bubble, giant world bubble. Let them talk. Don't overtalk them. Give them the space and time to complete things. Let them help you. They're not trying to end you or fun and make you feel awful. Unless you have a bad DM, at which point, get a new one, find someone different, or become a DM, because there's not many out there compared to players. And also, as a character, you're going to have moments where you maybe shine, or you have a main character moment, and when someone else starts talking over you in one of your main character moments, it's awful. I mean, you're let's say you did get really into your character and you just defeated the man who burned your town down as a child, and you were like having this thing, and maybe you're about to deal the killing blow and you want to say something to him, like, I don't know, you could always go the sappy route, like, I forgive you. Maybe he was your dad. Who knows?
Your dad?
Plot twist.
They have daddy issues for sure.
Oh, for sure. Or something. But then one of the players on the other side of the table starts talking over you. They just ruined your moment. This is your big character moment right here. This is like probably one of the biggest moments that your character is going to have in your life. And someone ruined it for you.
Mm.
Keep in mind that you could be ruining someone else's moment. So if they're having a character moment, let them have it. Don't overtalk. Don't try and take the spotlight. Everyone gets a share of the spotlight. It's not your turn right now. And then if it is, go for it. Have some fun. Just keep in mind politeness.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't necessarily... I love seeing, like, my players start fighting with each other and bantering. But there's a difference between when you're having a normal time and, like, going around and having fun and exploring things and coming up with ideas, and when there's a pivotal story point.
Mm-hmm.
So keep in mind, don't talk over people. You'd hate to be talked over. Don't do it to others. I've seen that a lot in some of the campaigns I've played in where they talk over the DM, and then I, as another player at that same table, can't hear what the DM just said.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm lost because someone else couldn't shut their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep in mind etiquette and pay attention. Pay attention. You're there to be there, not to, I don't know, do your own thing. You're here to have fun and play with people and have friend time.
Yeah.
So just, I don't know, be a kind person. Be nice. Be polite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't really played. I've only played puppy D&D, but I feel like also it makes it a lot more fun when everybody equally has their main character time,
Mm-hmm.
and then equally steps back and works together, and like,
Yeah.
it's not always about winning and like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
just always, you know, being the best.
Yeah.
Because it's a team situation.
Exactly. You can be an individual within the team, but you also have to give time to the team to be an individual.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably be dead without your cleric. Let her talk. Next time she might not heal you. I'm the cleric in my current campaign and I might not heal you. That was a threat. But just be cognizant. I think it's very important, and it makes the game a lot more fun when everyone's respectful and nice. And also, I am a cleric who is following Saloon, which is one of these two twins, and my brother is in the same campaign as me, and he is a warlock who's following Shar. The gods, those two gods, deities, are mortal enemies. Me and Brayden smack talk like nobody's business. Like, Shar is such a wench. She's the worst. Darkness and evil, dude. And, like, we go on to each other and be like, and that's why your deity's a wench. So you can have fun and fight with your players. But also, when he was having a moment where Shar came to him because he's a warlock and came to talk to him, it's not my moment to get on to him about how sucky his deity is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's not my time. He's having his moment with his patron.
Yeah.
And then when I got to go back to my home temple, like, and save my people again, that wasn't the time for one of the other players to start talking over me when it was like, these are my family members and they're dying.
Yeah.
Let me be sad.
Yeah.
Because I loved them, apparently. I didn't know them. I hadn't built them into my story.
Has your boyfriend died yet?
No. In my current campaign, sorry, Ashton. He's our DM, and it was not intentional, and he couldn't stop it. I was rolling over 20s. But I got a boyfriend in my D&D campaign. His name is Alex. I love him. He's a 26 out of 20, which is a 13 out of 10 for those who don't want to do the math. That is hot. Hot. And he's smart, and he's captain of the guard, and, like,
a military man.
Yeah, he could take care of me. I plan on using him for my development later because I have a feeling he's gonna get killed. No one else likes him.
Mm.
But I'm gonna use it
But
to my
you like
advantage.
him.
I like him. That's why he's my D&D boyfriend.
Okay, I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
How do turns work? Does it just go in a circle, or is it whoever, or how does that work?
That's a great question that I totally forgot to mention. There's this thing called initiative, and it's another thing that you get from one of your stat blocks.
Okay.
And it has a modifier like we discussed earlier. And so my character right now I think has a +1 to initiative. And so your DM, when a fight happens and someone maybe comes out to ambush you, or you hit someone, or just a fight's about to start, they'll say roll for initiative. Take your handy dandy, beautiful, glowy holographic D20, you roll it, and then you'll add or subtract your modifier to it. That was not a great roll. I only got a 7. And then whoever has the highest number goes first.
Okay.
And so it goes in order from highest to lowest. And then...
So you all roll at the same time?
Yes.
Okay.
So you'll all roll at the same time, and then you get to go in order.
Okay.
It's like line leader in elementary school. There is a front, there is an end, and then once that whole turn completes, then the next one starts. Also, fun fact, a turn in D&D in combat is a period of 6 seconds. So you could have 20 people at your table that are all fighting. At that one turn, all the way around, all 20 people counts as 6 seconds in the D&D world.
Okay.
So it's all happening.
So time happens really fast there? Or...
It would feel slow to us, but in there it's moving normal time.
Okay.
But one turn is equivalent to 6 seconds.
Okay.
In their world. So no matter how long it takes in our world to complete that turn, it was 6 seconds in their world.
Okay.
So that's another thing to keep in mind, is that while you're casting a healing spell over here, someone over here is shooting a firebolt right across the room. All in the same period of time. It's all happening at once in those 6 seconds.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things like that. There's also, in dice rolls, I forgot to mention, there's advantage and disadvantage. On that, it's your D20. If you would roll it twice on both cases. On advantage, you get to keep the highest of your 2 rolls.
Okay.
Disadvantage, you have to take the lowest. So depending, if you were in combat, for instance, and you were being flanked by like 4 people or surrounding you, you'd probably have disadvantage against the attacks coming against you. So when you roll, then you have to take the lowest.
Okay.
So there's some of that. Or if you were one of the people flanking someone and you had a whole bunch of team members around you, you'd probably have advantage on that attack. So you get to take the highest one and then hit them. Okay,
and then your dungeon master just decides if you have like advantage or disadvantage, or how does that work?
It depends on the situation. There's actually a flanking rule in D&D. So there's rules within combat and within different situations that will give you disadvantage or advantage. So there's built-in rules already into the player's handbook, which is a book in D&D world. They have it online for free for like the basics, and they also have it. D&D is actually surprisingly both cheap and expensive to get into. If you get the actual handbooks, they're like $40 a pop, and there's a million of them. But you also technically just need a set of dice and your imagination, and that'll work just fine too. So there's a whole bunch of different ways, but there's rules for it in there. When in doubt, Google it.
Okay.
Someone's asked the exact same question. D&D is very popularized right now, especially. People don't get made fun of for playing it nearly as much anymore.
Yeah, because of Stranger Things.
Yes,
yeah,
Stranger
I feel like
Things.
Stranger Things really brought it back to pop culture.
Yes, there's Stranger Things, and then there's also campaigns like Dimension 20 and Critical Role, which are 2 major successes and have millions and millions of people who watch them. So it's been really popularized.
But I feel like the not being made fun of for it thing is Stranger Things.
Yeah, we definitely got made fun of for it before that.
They're like, D&D, you nerd.
Stands for dork.
Dork and doofus.
Yes, you don't get made fun of. If they make fun of you, find new friends. Have fun. Goodness gracious. Let loose. Kill a dragon.
Seriously.
Go to
Life's
a dungeon.
too short to not go kill dragons. And
yes. Like, you could be a dwarf.
And save princesses.
Yeah, one of
the castle.
Yes, one of my favorite campaigns right now that I'm watching in Critical Role, season 4, is actually a southern dwarf lady. She's hilarious. Very fun. You can be anything. Have fun. Make weird characters. There's people who've played slime balls.
You feel really tall up here.
You look very tall up there. Do you feel pretty?
I do. Look at our matching sets.
Can you tell we like each other?
We love each other.
We're besties.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like we covered a lot. I feel like I being the dungeon dummy as of right now, I feel like I'm hitting dungeon. What's the like bottom of a dungeon?
The dungeon
I guess
is the,
the
bottom
dungeon
of
is
the
the
castle.
bottom. Okay, well I'm hitting dungeon level of the castle, and
The pits?
the pits.
That's the bottom.
Okay, wait. What's like slightly above the pits?
Ground level?
I'm hitting ground level of the dungeon, and I think after we do our session 0, I'll maybe hit
We might even make you to first level.
maybe
Second level?
I'll get out of the ground.
We'll put you like 2 stairs up.
I'll start looking
Mhm.
up the staircase.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
be
she'll
like,
start
what's
seeing
up
it.
there?
Yeah. No, and if
I
you
feel like I have
guys-
the upper hand now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I got a
Oh,
pre,
yeah.
a
A
level
pre-pre.
-1. Session
Yes. Because
-1.
also session 0s are very important. Do them with your dungeon master. It helps a lot. Sets up flavor and expectations for session 1, which is when you actually get to play. This is the pre-play. Hoarding them.
I
now.
can see that. A collection.
Yeah, I have a ton of them. It's my
That's
bag
good.
of dice.
Bag o' dice.
My bag of dice also because sometimes when you
Bagada.
have to roll 15 d4s to figure out your damage for your fireball, it's
You
nice to have 15 d4s
Yeah.
so that you can count them by seeing them and not remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you have anything else you would like to add for
Not-
the end of this podcast?
No, not this time around. If you liked it, there's plenty more to say.
Well,
We can come back at a different time.
lasses, lads,
And dwarves.
and elves, and
Dragons?
wizards.
Dragonborns?
Dragons.
Yeah, you can be a dragonborn. Well, you can't be a dragon, but you can be a dragonborn.
Is that the one with the dragon face?
It's a dragon humanoid, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us
Yeah.
for another episode, a session -1, where you guys got to be a part of it. And
Do you feel Dungeons and Dragons for Dummies?
I feel Dummies for Dragons of Dungeons of...
We did really good.
Yes.
High five. Okay. But we'll see you next
So
episode.
just high five yourself. I'm here.
That was so
Woo!
nice.
Okay, we'll see you in the next episode.